I'm Dave Rice. I'm the CEO for TrueCloud. Approximately 35 years in the industry. The most recent experience in the last 10 years, I worked for a Fortune 500 company. I was the Global Chief Information Officer, and we did several major system integrations, primarily as a result of business acquisitions. We were in a company that was on a fairly dramatic growth cycle. They were growing through acquisitions, and the way that we were able to make those things effective was through the integration of the systems. Most of that was done with ERP systems, primarily around SAP. So large enterprise businesses, in the range of $3 to $6 billion businesses. Integrated onto ERP platforms is largely my background and experience, which is actually what makes me very excited about the small space and the mid-size space, is that I think that those tools that have forever only been available in the enterprise space are now actually becoming available and affordable to the small to mid-size customer, so that the power that has existed up in the enterprise space is now available, if you will, to the little guy, which is a fairly exciting proposition. Like any other business, and it's probably no different if you're talking about a large or a small business, the problem with information, historically has always been that it's sort of hard to harness it in a way where it can be offered up in a very useful manner. And practically speaking, what happens with technology is that many businesses tend to acquire technology based on an immediate need. And so what you wind up with in a business is lots of islands of information, lots of islands of capability, but often very little integration between those islands. So that the amount of information that is available may be significant, but it's not particularly useful information, because it's very difficult to aggregate that information to make it useful. And then it also takes a great deal of sort of human effort to be able to maintain all these little islands of information. Once you start down that path, once a business starts down the path where they've got 4 or 5 different islands of information, different islands of technology, if you will, it's very, very difficult for them to sort of pull back from that and try to get an integrated solution outcome. This is the most common problem that we see, particularly in small businesses. For most businesses, since when they reach a critical mass size where they need to start worrying about their financials, usually the first thing that they focus on is a QuickBooks or a Peachtree, something like that. Some ability to just take care of their financials and keep their books accurate. And that's relatively easy when you're a small business, and I think those companies that make those choices actually feel quite relieved in the beginning. And I think there's this sort of false sense that, okay, well, this technology thing is no problem. Now I need a different form of technology. So, for example, I need an e-commerce site. So I need someone to put a website together for me so that I can start making it possible for my customers, for example, to self-service themselves.
So a customer buys online, and how does that interface with or typically, how would that interface with, say, a QuickBooks?
It typically doesn't.
So it's a manual, here are the orders,
Exactly.
and I need to put those into QuickBooks. So in a small business, when things are moving fast, that's where you start to have errors or lag in information.
That's right.
Because somebody's got to move it over.
Exactly right.
Okay.
And so what you have is this problem of then disparate environments springing up to solve a particular spot need that a business has without any form of an integrated outcome. So now the ability to be able to harness the information that a business needs to really make good business decisions is very, very difficult, because what's happened is you've started this proliferation, if you will, of technology without any particular strategy to try to bring that together or integrate it so that useful information is available on demand.
I'm a businessman running a small to medium-sized business, and I've got a set amount of budget to invest in, say, advertising. And I'm trying some online advertising techniques. And let's say I'm running a few AdWords on Google, and I'm running ads on MSN, a few places like that. What is it that NetSuite would give me that I wouldn't ordinarily have that would give me the ability to make better decisions?
So this is actually a good example, John. And so one of the things that you get with a fully integrated system, where everything from your e-commerce functionality all the way through your sales and marketing engine, your order management components, all the way through to your accounting and back-end systems are all integrated, meaning they're all using the same source of information. And as the transaction moves through the system, it's busy gathering all the properties of information to be able to provide a complete view, a complete end-to-end view, if you will, by the time it reaches its destination in the financial system.
So no islands, like a
Exactly.
continent. You're a continent.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, for example, you use the example of Google AdWords, and the reality is that if you don't have that end-to-end visibility, it's quite possible that you might make some wrong assumptions about which campaigns are the most effective. It's entirely possible, for example, that when you may have more volume actually generated through sort of one set of campaigns, but actually when you look at the conversion rate, which is something that you can see all the way on the back end of the financial systems, you may find that there's a very different result in terms of the effectiveness of the program. And so, again, it's the power of that integration that actually makes the information a great source and a great resource for decision making. There's actually a great opportunity for even small businesses in that $2 million range, to be able to avoid some of the trappings we were talking about earlier in terms of getting too far invested in that scheme of acquiring technology the way we acquire consumer electronic products. You can actually get on board with a product, a fully integrated product like NetSuite, when you're as small as 2 million with maybe 7 to 10 employees, and have a product that you can actually grow into that will take you up into the range of several hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue. So it's a product that companies can grow with substantially throughout those years, while they're moving from being someone who's fairly local to someone who wants to go national, potentially to someone who's building their business to maybe even be an international business. NetSuite can take them all the way through that cycle. To perform a NetSuite conversion is something in the range to 20 to 40 or maybe 60 days maximum, just depending upon the complexity of a customer. Most of the work has to do with the activities of cleansing and normalizing data. So the reality is it's a fraction of the time. And then the product itself is so well designed and so intuitive. The help features are extremely strong. Our customer, Darren Orman, would give testimony to the fact that when he first started out, he was a little bit uncomfortable because the product itself offers a lot of feature function, but literally overnight, within a matter of a few days, both he and his staff became very, very comfortable with the simplicity, the ease of use, how quickly they could enable features and functions, how quickly they were able to get the kind of reporting they were looking for. The experiences that we have had prior to the formation of TrueCloud make it possible for us to do the planning and the strategizing and the looking at the sets of products that are available nowadays to the smaller owner-operator and putting that together, if you will, in a collective offering, a complementary offering that actually can spawn the growth that a small business is looking for without the need for them to ever have to become, if you will, IT experts themselves or have to go acquire that expertise in order to be able to have a great IT capability to run their business.
Well, Dave, thanks for spending time with me and helping me understand TrueCloud and NetSuite. Appreciate it.
Great. Thanks, John.